may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, brothers beloved, we come at a time when the world in which we live today is in the most critical condition than it has been in 2005 years. The security of the world is gravely jeopardized. The world is unprepared, and essential material for defense and industrial organization and politicians in mind and in heart to protect adequately and swiftly is vital interest, collectively or individually. We come to inaugurate a new president of the House of Alpha. We come certainly knowing that this is a critical period for leadership. And leadership, Alpha must give. So I welcome all of you here today. I come to welcome you to the city where I dwell, and to welcome you to this facility and to this activity of the House of Alpha. We will now have an invocation by brothers by Brother Shannon. Brother Seal Shannon.
Let us attune our hearts to the great provider of the universe, the creator of all that is. Thou who art mindful of cattle on 1,000 hills, and dost see a little sparrow when she falls. Thou who did inspire 7 college men to lift high the banner of knowledge and achievement, and put into their minds the Ethiopian clan and the mystic Sphinx, dressed in old gold and black. We pause to thank you for their wisdom and insight. Like rare, rare wine, we'll never die. We'll sing thy praise as years go by. You've given us good men. Strong men keep a-coming. You've given us leadership by 31 general presidents. And today we ask you again to bless our leader, Brother Darryl Matthews Sr. Crown him with many a crown. Go before him, come behind him, stand beside him, and allow all of us to remember that many are called, but few are chosen. Bless this fraternity in its 99th year. Give wings to our thoughts. Give grace to our movement. And above all else, keep us humble as we seek to lift up high the aims of Phi. Now bless this banquet gathering. Bless food and fellowship and friends, so that when we go from this place, we will know that we've been touched by that same Spirit that inspired the 7 men at Cornell. Give to us a new appreciation of the old gold and the black. This we pray in the name of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of Miriam and Mary, your God and my God, and the God of the man of Nazareth. Amen.
I want to introduce the head table. On the lower tier, Brother Sylvester Shannon, you heard earlier. And also, if we will hold our applause until we introduce the entire table, it will save you some energy and us some time. Well, thank you very much for that. Brother Garin Vitti, Western Regional Assistant VP. Brother Frank D. Scott, the Southern Regional VP. Brother Patrick Gibson, the Eastern Region VP. Brother Darryl R, Western Region VP. Brother John M. Williams, parliamentarian. Brother George Reeves, General Treasurer. Brother Piggy, General Counsel. Some kind of way this list didn't give a person I'm going to call on, but I'll do that in a moment. Our brother Robert Harris, historian. Brother Ronald Celestine, Western Region VP. Brother Vandermeer Lidecour, Midwestern Vice President. Brother Robert Torrance, Southwestern Vice President. Some kind of way, I don't know. There's a friend of mine who is our comptroller down there, Brother Reeves, comptroller. Oh, I call Reeves, didn't I? Jenkins. In the board meeting, when we started to deal with the budget, we have a little trouble separating the two. Thank you very much. Now, we may applaud that lower tier. The upper tier, Brother James Smith, Inaugural Vice Chair, Brother Smith. Brother Darren Morton, Eastern Region Vice President. Brother James R. Williams, the 25th General President, Brother Williams. Brother Charles Teamer, the 27th General President, Brother Teamer. Brother Adrian Wallace, the 30th General President. Brother Andrew Young, Ambassador and Chair of the Inaugural Activities, Brother Young. The Honorable Brother John Lewis, U.S. House of Representatives. Brother Harry E. Johnson, Sr., the immediate past General President. In the mayor's absence, Brother Albert Dotson, chair of the board of the 100 Black Men, Brother Dotson. Brother Milton C. Davis, 29th General President. Brother Gregory Phillips, Executive Director. Brother Ronnie Jenkins, Southern VP. Brother Herman Mason, Inaugural Vice Chair. We are now going to have a musical selection by Brother Peter Felder with that lovely voice of his. Let's listen to Brother Felder.
I really don't need all of this stage. It was supposed to have been a string quartet, but that's okay. It gives me an opportunity to share with you a selection that you hear a lot of the time, part of the song. Today you hear it all, and I invite you, when you go back home, because of the times in which we live and the things that are happening in the world, that you read all of the words. It's entitled, America the Beautiful. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriots' feet whose stern impassioned stress a thoroughfare for freedom's beat across the wilderness. America, America, God shed thine every flaw. Confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty and law. Oh, beautiful for heroes proof in liberating strife, who more than self thy country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness and every gain divine. oh beautiful for patriots' dream that sees beyond the years. Thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Thank you, Brother Felder. The occasion is going to be presented by not the oldest past general president, but in terms of the 7 past general presidents, James R. Williams, the 25th. And we will now hear from the dean among us, Brother James R. Williams.
Thank you very much, Brother Sutton. If you didn't understand what he was saying, he was saying that I'm the oldest serving, not the oldest general president. Brother Felder, I want to commend you on the selection of that particular number, because for a young alpha man to ascend to the presidency is indeed an American dream. And our honoree today is certainly sharing that experience. I hope to accomplish 2 things in the next few minutes. One is to set the stage with the occasion, and the second is to set an example of brevity. Some 27 years ago, the 24th General President, Brother Walter Washington, and I, the incoming 25th General President, invited the Brotherhood to Chicago. That was the beginning of the inauguration and installation ceremony as we know it today. Oh, they have grown over the years, and it's just gratifying to see the brothers and the families come to embrace our new leader for the next 4 years. Oh, that was a grand occasion. All of the general presidents were there. Brother Sidney Jones presided. Brother Charles Wesley gave an address. Brother Belford Lawson administered the oath of office. And we had remarks from Brother Raymond Cannon, Brother A. Maceo Smith, Brother Ernie Moriel, Brother Walter Washington. It was indeed an outstanding occasion, as this one is today. 27 years ago, and we have followed that tradition since that time. It is an outstanding honor for me and an extreme pleasure to be able to be asked to participate this afternoon. I met our new president some 30 years ago in Kansas City as we planned the 1975 Midwestern Regional Convention. He went on from there, of course, to become the Assistant Vice President for the Midwest region. He later joined the staff of our national office in Chicago, and of course later he became the Executive Director of Alpha Phi Alpha. I've always considered him a protege, and I'm very proud of he and Allison and their family as he assumed this awesome responsibility. Brothers, we have come today to participate in these ceremonies, and it is important that we take the message back to the brotherhood that he is ready to lead, he is prepared to lead, but he can only do the job with our help and with our support. And your outpouring today, your presence, your love, your affection is an indication of that. Brother Matthews, we wish you well. We are with you. We will support you. And we know that you're going to have outstanding years, about 4 outstanding years of outstanding service. Godspeed to you.
We have the honor and the pleasure of having one of the most distinguished members of Congress in our presence. I have known Lewis, as I call him, but the Honorable John Lewis, as you know him, for many years throughout the civil rights movement. I first met him when he came from one of the freedom rides in Anniston, Alabama. He came to Fisk, where I was in attendance of a Human Relations Institute. Came with his head all bandaged and arm all bandaged, and he came to that institute. And the great brother Thurgood Marshall was the main speaker for that institute when John came in and gave his report on that freedom ride. Ever since then, I have kept up with him. And one of the things I know, that where our interest is involved, John Lewis will be on the case. So I present to you at this particular time for remarks the great member of the House of Representatives, representing the 5th District of Georgia, which is Atlanta, to come and bring greetings.
Thank you very much, Ozell Sutton, for those kind words of introduction. Let me just take a moment to say how pleased, how happy and delighted that I am to welcome you to Atlanta, to Georgia, to the 5th Congressional District. Mr. President, the General President, Darryl Matthews, Sr., I think it's fitting and appropriate that you hold this meeting here in Atlanta, here in the capital of the New South, at this time, the birthplace of Martin Luther King Jr., your brother. In a few days, we will celebrate and commemorate the birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. And I said to Andy Young, my friend and brother and colleague of so many years, and your brother, that if it hadn't been for Martin Luther King Jr., I wouldn't be standing here today. When I was growing up in rural Alabama, 50 miles from Montgomery, outside of a little town called Troy, and would visit Troy, visit Montgomery, visit Tuskegee, and I would ask my mother, my father, my grandparents, and great-grandparents, why segregation, why racial discrimination? And they would say, that's the way it is. Don't get in the way, don't get in trouble. But Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. inspired us all to get in the way and to get in trouble. And I said to you, men of Alpha, you have a great legacy to uphold. You must find a way during the next few years and generations to come to inspire others to get in the way, to get in trouble, good trouble, necessary trouble. Mr. President, I wish you well. I know you will never give up. You will never give in. You will keep the faith. And you will lead the Alphas on to a higher ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Congressman. We will have to bring greetings on behalf of the mayor who couldn't be here. Brother Al Dotson was not only a brother in the House of Alpha, he is the national president of the 100 Black Men. Our brother Al Dotson.
You know, I had the opportunity of living in this great city for many years, and one thing I learned then and I know now, no one can ever stand in the shoes of those who have stood as mayors and clearly cannot stand in the shoes of Shirley Franklin, but if she were here, she would tell you, welcome to the international headquarters of 100 Black Men of Atlanta and 100 Black Men of America, Atlanta, Georgia. So on her behalf, I want to say thank you for being here. But I actually have the double honor of standing to give you greetings on behalf of 100 Black Men of America. In the room, there are many men of that organization. I'm going to ask them to stand as I bring greetings. Because under my predecessor, Thomas W. Dortch Jr., who is an Omega, we started a partnership with the 31st General President of Alpha Phi Alpha, Harry Johnson. We recognized then and we recognize now that we are brothers all focused on the same mission. So I'm going to say to our 32nd president, Darryl Matthews, who I've had the chance to meet and talk to, that the men in this room and the 10,000 men around this world stand behind you and stand with you, and we congratulate you on ascending to the presidency of the great organization, 100 Black Men of America's great friend, Alpha Phi Alpha Incorporated. Now let me say this. You gave a challenge to the members of this great fraternity to support the centennial celebration. I want you to know I want to begin with my personal contribution of $1,000 to the centennial, and we're going to ask all of our members to continue to support you and our partners to support you as you move forward in this organization. Thank you very much.
That is what we expect from the 100 Black Men, and that's the spirit we know that preside in Alpha. Now we're going to have greetings coming from Brother Morton, Brother Ronald Jenkins, Brother James Smith, and Brother Herman Mason, in that order.
Greetings, Brother General President Darryl R. Matthews, Sr., to the past General Presidents, to my fellow Board of Directors, members of Alpha Phi Alpha, you, the distinguished brothers of this great fraternity, our guests, ladies, and most especially our First Lady of Alpha, Allison Matthews, and First Family, I greet you on behalf of the brothers of this fraternity, the Board of Directors, this afternoon, as we stand at this occasion to welcome, to embrace, to salute, and to send off, within the Alpha spirit, our next General President, our leader, our visionary, one who follows in the footsteps of our founders. It is an honor for us to be here today to salute you, Brother Matthews, on being our 32nd General President, to crown you as our leader, and to rally around you, and to tell you that we support you. It was some 27 years ago that we started on this journey, living the legacy, as you so put it. We went back to the basics. The greatness of our past is the key to our future, and we continue to struggle in the goals of our fraternity. By the struggle continues. And repairing from within, as we were so told by our dear brother, Charles Tima, and knowing that there was an Alpha Renaissance in the horizon. Of course, there was the light of a new day. And we have just come to let the world know that we have the Alpha attitude. So we will do that as you have charged us, Brother Matthews, in the Spiridae Fraternity, living the legacy. So I greet you, welcome you, and on behalf of your own brothers and the guests, as you see here today, we honor you and welcome you as our 32nd General President.
To our 32nd General President, Brother Darryl R. Matthews, Sr., to our immediate past General President, Brother Harry E. Johnson, Sr., and past General Presidents, Judge Williams, Sutton, Teamer, Ponder, Davis, and Wallace, Executive Director, Brother Phillips, Regional Vice Presidents and Assistant Vice Presidents, General Officers, Brother Young, my neighbor and good friend, my congressman from the 5th District, Honorable John Lewis, and the Honorable Bobby Scott, brothers gathered here, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is indeed a signal honor and sincere pleasure to greet each of you to the Peach State of Georgia and the Black Mecca of the South, the city of Atlanta, on behalf of the brothers of the Great Alpha South and the Georgia District and the chapter of Adalanda, to this inauguration luncheon of our 32nd General President, once known as the city too busy to hate. Atlanta is the centerpiece of all that the New South has to offer. There are alphas here from Atlanta Life Insurance founder, Brother Alonzo Herndon, our civil rights icon, the late Brother Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the city's first black mayor, the late Brother Maynard Holbrook Jackson, our former mayor and ambassador, Brother Young, and to the thousands of brothers who reside in the metropolitan area who have helped Atlanta become a fast-paced, modern-day Mecca, proud of heritage and even prouder of its future. Before leaving, brothers, ladies and gentlemen, please take time to sightsee and enjoy the scenic beauty and the rich heritage that we have come to enjoy. We gather here today, heirs of the founders of the first Greek-lettered organization founded in this country, to usher in an era symbolizing an end as well as a beginning, signifying renewal as well as change. The torch has been passed, the banner has been hung, and the bell has tolled to mark this day in the annals of our great fraternity. It is our wish that your stay here be peaceful, the food you eat tasteful, the meetings and workshops you attend meaningful, the discussions that we've had peaceful, the friendships you develop useful, that when you depart, your lives will be more purposeful, and your contributions to your community more impactful, and the Atlanta City coffers more bountiful. Upon returning to your respective communities, hopefully, brothers, each of you will be better trained, more informed, and highly motivated, bent on making a difference today, just as we have done for the past 98 years. There's an old Chinese proverb that says, if planting for 1 year, you grow rice. If planting for 20 years, you grow trees. If planting for centuries, you grow men. For almost a century, Alpha Phi Alpha has been developing and growing men whose distinguishing characteristic has been to make a difference in the communities in which we serve. I again greet and welcome you to the Alpha South, the District of Georgia, and the City of Atlanta, and the chapter of Eta Lambda, and thank you for choosing our city and this great hotel as a backdrop for chartering the future course of Alpha Phi Alpha. Thank you.
To the august body who is gathered here on today, I bring you greetings. My name is Brother James Smith, and I am the chapter president for Kappa Phi Lambda, one of the seats that Brother Matthew holds. Approximately 2 years ago, Brother Matthews came to us asking for our support as he began his journey to become the general president of this great organization, our fraternity. It was easy to support Brother Matthews for two reasons. First, he was a chapter brother in good standing. His dues were paid. And while I'm on that note, I know you're general president. Where do we send the invoice for the next 4 years? Just want you to be in good standing. But the second primary factor that we found it extremely easy to support our brother is because we believed in his vision. This is a servant leader, and as the times have changed, so has the need for leadership. As you have, Brother Matthews, ascended to the highest office of this great fraternity, you bear the spirit of a servant, and we trust that you will continue to lead us by your great example, and know that the brothers of Kappa Phi Lambda stand ready to support you as you begin your journey as the 32nd General President of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Incorporated. May God bless you.
Would the brothers of Eta Lambda chapter please stand? Brother Young, we have your check. That includes you too. All right. On behalf of the brothers of Eta Lambda chapter, the 7th graduate chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha, the other home seat of our 32nd General President who is wearing his chapter tie, we bring you greetings. Have a great time. Have a safe trip home.
I've never heard Skip as good. as he was today. We thank him for that. I want you to know that we have another brother congressman present today. Brother Scott, Brother Robert Scott. And I understand Brother Davis just entered the room, and we welcome him as well. I was reminded from Chicago, we say Chi-Town, where I came from, or Windy City, whatever, it's cold there. Let's move along. We have coming next is Brother Wallace. Brother Wallace is a past General President who will make an introduction of the chair of this inaugural activity.
I was a bit concerned. I thought he might call me up here to sing and it was going to really have a problem. It is my great pleasure and honor to present to you the inaugural chair for this august occasion. He is no stranger to us. The Honorable Andrew Young is chairman and co-founding partner of Good Works International, LLC, the company founded in January of 1997 with Mr. Carlton A. Masters to carry out his mission of energizing the private sector to produce substantial economic development in Africa and the Caribbean. This long-held vision of Mr. Young, Brother Young, was honed during his comprehensive leadership in public service and private industry, including business, government, international affairs, and human rights. This extensive, diverse career provides clients of Good Works with an exceptionally qualified leader who possesses a global perspective on business expansion. In the heyday of the Houston Oilers football team, Coach Bum Phillips was asked if star running back Earl Campbell was in a class by himself. And Bum Phillips, in his down-home humor, said he may not be in a class by himself, but it certainly does not take long to call the roll. The class of Brother Young is a veritable who's who of Alpha Phi Alpha and the world community. He is an ambassador, a mayor, a consummate businessman, a minister, a friend of man, and the list just goes on and on and on. Whenever Alpha has called upon him, he has never, and I emphasize, never failed to respond. Please welcome very warmly this son of Alpha, a true icon and treasure of Alpha, our own brother, Andrew Young.
Thank you very much, and I am very proud to be a son of Alpha and to be asked to chair this inaugural event, because there's something special. I remember, golly, 50-some years ago now, as a 16-year-old on Howard University's campus, just on the verge of flunking out. And David Dinkins said, if you're going to make this fraternity, you got to spend a little more time in those books. And it was the surrounding environment, the articulate vision of a Belford Lawson who would walk on the campus and you'd hear him talk and you wonder, how can anybody get up and talk like that? And I have watched through this fraternity, I guess that was the 16th general president, now we're on the 32nd. And I've watched people come in and grow, and it reminds me that this is what we do in the church. We take young people, we said, churches make preachers. They don't come fully made. That people surround you with love. They nod, they say amen when you speak. They look up to you and they make you think you're better than you are. And before you know it, you get to be somebody. And I think that has been the story of Alpha. We have taken people of great potential and we have surrounded them with love and with support, and we've shared with them a vision. We share our jokes. We share our prophecies and our speeches, and by the time you go around and listen to everybody in every chapter, when you come back, you're a pretty good speaker. Because you steal a little bit from everywhere you've gone. And, Brother President, we're here to say to you that you are now more than ever before, but you have been all along surrounded by a community of support. A community of support that emphasizes manly deeds, scholarship, love for all mankind, that says, first of all, servants of all. We can transcend all. And so we're saying that you now are part of this great tradition, and that you are the focus of our admiration, but more so, you're the benefactor of our love, our dreams, our hopes to carry on the work of this great fraternity. Martin Luther King made an impact on the second half of the 20th century that I think is unmatched by any other individual. He was able to show the world that it could change without violence. And the revolutions that are spreading around the world without violence are a tribute to the methods of change that people like John Lewis actually put into practice across the South and are still putting into practice in the Congress of the United States and around the world. And we are committed, thanks to two previous general presidents, to put a monument on the mall that will remind not only the brothers of Alpha, but the whole world, that either we will learn to live together as brothers and sisters, or we will perish together as fools. And as we build that monument, we're entrusting to you and to all of the brothers of Alpha the inspiration, the vision, the dreams of Martin Luther King, that they can be fulfilled not only in our lives, but in the lives of our children and our children's children. And as our Native American brethren say, in the lives of 7 generations yet unborn. And so the decisions you make, the vision you share, the organization that you put behind our dreams, and I'd like to put a special emphasis on that, because more black institutions are suffering now for lack of accounting than for lack of vision. We have a whole lot of vision and we've got a whole lot of eloquence, but we've been short on bookkeepers. We've been short on people we've been short on people who will mind the store. We've been short on people who will market our visions. And Brother President, you come from that management and financial responsibility tradition. And I would presume to say that maybe you were brought into the kingdom for just such a time as this. Not that Alpha itself is in need, but the inspiration that you bring through your vision will help many of those institutions that are struggling. And there are many. And they're not struggling for lack of commitment. They're struggling for lack of management and accountability. And so we welcome all of you to an additional era of Alpha. And we thank you for the support in advance that you continue to give to our fraternity, and that you will inspire and be inspired by our new General President.
Thank you, Brother Young. You continue to inspire all of us. 29th General President, Brother Milton C. Davis.
We are in the 99th year of our existence as the world's first collegiate African American fraternity. Across the decades of the 20th century, and now into the 21st century, literally over 150,000 men of high intellect, vision, character, and integrity have entered into our sacred bond of brotherhood, creating Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity as one of the truly historic and august organizations of men in the world. By action of this brotherhood worldwide, through the casting of their individual ballots, the General President of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity is elected. For only the 32nd time in our history, we gather to solemnly inaugurate one of our brothers in the highest office of our fraternity. Of the 32 men who have had the sublime honor of serving in our highest office, only 8 survive. Today, by the grace of God, we are privileged to have in our presence to witness this occasion all of the living general presidents of Alpha. The one whom we elevate today is worthy of the call and worthy of the office. Early in his membership as a college brother, he was elected as the Assistant Regional Vice President from the Midwestern region. Serving in that position, he was fortunate to have the mentoring of one of our great intellects and stalwart scholars of Alpha, then Regional Vice President Dr. Thomas D. Pauley. After graduating from college, he was tapped by the 25th General President, James R. Williams, to join our General Corporate Office and rose to head our membership department. He advanced from that position, serving as Deputy Executive Director, and ultimately as the Executive Director. For 18 years of his life, he rose every day and went to work as a member of our professional general corporate office staff, serving in Chicago and agreeing to move with his family to Baltimore when we established our headquarters in that city. Truly committed and dedicated to the service of this brotherhood. He has the historic distinction of having served in a professional and substantive manner each of the living general presidents of Alpha. This leader has further distinguished himself through his nationally recognized service to the National Association of Black Accountants, known as NABA. He serves this premier organization in the finance and accounting professions as its executive director and chief operating officer. He is no stranger to the corridors of Congress, to the White House, or to the corporate boardrooms of America. One who is elected to serve in our highest office represents us as our ambassador to the world. During his tenure, he is presented as the personification of the character, intellect, and integrity of the entire brotherhood, the embodiment of manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind. Today, at this hour, we raise up to this rare, awesome, and exquisite high place the son of James and Wilma Matthews, the sibling of Carla and Terry, the husband of Allison Page Stimson, the father of Julian, Blake, and Darryl Jr., and one who is a beloved brother of this fraternity. It is not mere coincidence, but perhaps prophetic insight that in his 32nd year as a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, he is inaugurated as the 32nd president of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity. Brothers, ladies, and gentlemen, I present to you to receive the oath of office as General President of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Brother Darryl R. Matthews, Sr.
I said to the General President, I'm not going to stop them. I'm going to let them continue to applaud because there will be days when they will not applaud. My brothers in Alpha Phi Alpha, ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to have the opportunity to install the 32nd General President of this distinguished brotherhood of men. I am going to ask all of the past General Presidents to stand near as we provide the oath of office. The men of Alpha Phi Alpha have placed their faith, confidence, and trust in you. Great leaders must have great vision and possess tenacity and strong backs. As a former executive director, I know that you are very familiar with the awesome responsibility and challenges that confront you and the men of this fraternity. We expect you to move quickly in confronting these challenges. I have had the rare privilege of working with you, Brother Matthews, from the very first day that you entered Alpha Phi Alpha's headquarters, and I served as the comptroller. I know you know what to do. And I am confident that you will be equal to the task which lies before you. please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Darryl R. Matthews, Sr.,
I, Darryl R. Matthews, Sr.,
do solemnly promise and swear
do solemnly promise and swear
to faithfully uphold
to faithfully uphold
the Constitution and bylaws of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Incorporated,
the Constitution and bylaws of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Incorporated,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I now declare you duly sworn and ready to serve. Congratulations and Godspeed.
You ready for your speech? After the speech. Fall off of that. After the speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the high honor and privilege to present to you the 32nd General President of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Incorporated.
My dear brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha, first allow me to acknowledge Congressman and brother Bobby Scott, stalwart brother. Brother Scott, you've always been there for me. Thank you. Also, Congressman and brother Danny Davis. We seem to run into each other all over the world. And a special thanks to Congressman John Lewis. I've admired you for so long in your courage, in your fight for civil rights for others who you never met. To our dais, family, I know I have a lot of family out there today, friends and honored guests, and my staff from the National Association of Black Accountants. Let me take this moment to pay special tribute to my loving wife, Allison. Allison, if you would please accept these flowers as a small token of my appreciation for your permission and support as I sought the office of General President. And let me also acknowledge our three sons, Julian, Darryl Jr., Blake. Would you stand? And for those of you who are wondering, we won the game last night. I also like to acknowledge what Brother Davis referred to as James and Wilma. Never called him Dad, I only knew him by his rank. I knew him as Sarge. I'm not going to ask you to stand, but just raise your hand, Mom and Dad. And remind my sons, while they're sitting there, that when I was your age, your grandfather had a lot to learn, but as I got older, he seemed to pick it up pretty quick. And I was surprised how smart he got to be when I got out on my own. So it is with great humility and admiration for you and this august organization that I stand before you as the 32nd General President of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity. And even as I say those words aloud, I am filled with hope, honor, reverence, respect, emotion, and pride. Today, as I stand and look upon you in all your magnificence, I know that there is a mission ahead for me, but it's not a journey I take alone. For I know that the spirit of those who have gone before me are present here today. I know that as I call upon God Almighty, I am not alone in this quest. Now, they often say that it's lonely at the top, and I'm sure that I'll experience those moments of loneliness in the days to come. But I know that the spirit of Alpha is one which never really leaves you. I'm told that help is always on the way, and I'm also told that joy comes in the morning. So now, to immediate past General President Harry Johnson and former Presidents Adrian Wallace, Milton Davis, Henry Ponder, Charles Teamer, Ozell Sutton, and James Williams, I want to first of all thank each of you for your service to this great fraternity and for being the great examples of manhood and leadership. For me personally, and for this organization, and especially for black men both here and around the world. Brothers here assembled, would each of you stand and join me in thanking these great leaders? And to you, my brothers in Alpha, I want to thank you, for you've taken your son, you wrapped your arms around me, you've admonished me, you've praised me, you supported me, and because of you, here I stand today. My pledge to you this day is that each and every morning when God reaches down with a finger of love and touches me as I slumber and sleep and allows my eye to open and see one more of his grand days, at that moment, that waking moment, my mind will be on you. Thank you for coming here to Atlanta, a city rich in African American history, a city rich in Alpha history. Today, I beg of you for just a moment to think with me about one of the greatest Alphas of all time. We have invoked his name on numerous occasions today. About 2 miles from where I stand right now lies that brother whose life was lost in the quest for civil rights for all people. It was here in this city that the first joint, black and white, black people, white people mixed together in one room. A testimonial dinner was held for our brother, Dr. Martin Luther King, after he received the Nobel Peace Prize. In a little publicized speech, Brother King gives me inspiration for what will be a recurring theme of my administration. Allow me for just a moment to recount those words for you, and I quote, "Even the most casual observer can see that the South has marvelous possibilities. Yet in spite of those assets, segregation has placed the whole South socially, educationally, and economically behind the rest of the nation. Yet there are in the white South millions of people of goodwill whose voices are yet unheard, whose course is yet unclear, and whose courageous acts are yet unseen. These millions are called upon to gird their courage, to speak out, to offer leadership that is needed. History will have to record that the greatest tragedy of this period of social transition was not the vitriolic words and violent actions of the bad people, but the appalling silence and indifference of the good people. Our generation will have to repent, not only for the words and the actions of the children of darkness, but also for the fears and the apathy of the children of light." End quote. Our generation will have to repent, not only for the words and the actions of the children of darkness, but also for the fears and apathy of the children of light. You, my brothers, are the children of light. But many of us within this organization have voices that are yet unheard, a course that is yet unclear, and courageous acts that are yet unseen. The theme for this day begs you to make your voices heard. It begs you to make our voices heard. I'm talking about one voice, one alpha. Say it with me now. One voice, one alpha. Once again, one voice, one alpha. Now here we are, oldest black Greek letter intercollegiate fraternity in America, dressed up like we want to be. We ride to work in style. And still, we regularly confront issues that hold so many of our race back. But brothers, let me tell you, I am excited by the possibilities before us. We have so many opportunities for improvement. We have the opportunity to substantially improve our financial position. We have the opportunity to increase our membership by reclaiming brothers who've taken leave while we were getting our house in order. We have the opportunity to create an effective intake program, one that is carefully reasoned so that the cure is not worse than the disease, one that honors our legacy but ensures we have a future. We have an opportunity to strengthen this organization and build the capacity of our infrastructure and to improve communication throughout the brotherhood. Now hear me now, hear me well. There is no issue that we cannot solve if we will but band together with one voice, one alpha. We are a great fraternity, but we will be greater. How? With one voice, one alpha. Now we're going to build a memorial in Washington, D.C. to our brother, Dr. Martin Luther King. Maybe, can't, aren't even options. Brother Harry Johnson, I want to thank you for hitting the ground and just want to keep you rolling, brother. I didn't want to get in the way. Just whatever you need, whatever you need. Brothers, reach deep into your heart and into your pockets. But how are we going to build this monument? One voice, one alpha. In 2006, we will observe in the city of Washington, D.C., our centennial celebration in a manner befitting the majesty and dignity of alpha men, with one voice, one alpha. We train the minds of thousands of African American men in this country. We do so in our leadership development program, and we will continue to do so, but only with one voice, one alpha. We play a pivotal role in preventing teenage pregnancies and encouraging male responsibilities through Project Alpha. And we will continue to do so, but only with one voice, one alpha. We will remind those brothers who are outside the fold that goodwill continues to dwell in this house, and they are welcome, and it's time for them to come home. One voice, one alpha. Now I'm calling on each of you here, and each of you who will read this text on our website, to make your voices heard, to make your course clear, and to make your courageous acts to be seen. Now, there are some who said, Brother Matthews, there are challenges facing this fraternity which are insurmountable. I disagree. In fact, I embrace those challenges. You taught me to rise and to face challenges. It is our legacy, it is our history. The history of our race is replete with examples of those who faced a wall and somehow scaled it with room to spare. Challenges faced, challenges conquered. And so this young man, who not so young anymore, but came to you a young man a little rough around the edges. So far today we almost made it through without anybody making reference to the picture in the history book. You raised and polished me. Well, correction, there's still a little debate about that. Now, I've always credited Alpha with my development, but my wife told me they were doing all right. But when I found you, that's when you started to go someplace, so. Now, I stand here before you as your 32nd General President, and I pledge to you that we will face the challenges, we will conquer the challenges, and we will do so together with one voice, one Alpha. When we speak with one voice, we speak with clarity, we speak with power, we speak with promise, prosperity. We speak with integrity, with intelligence, we speak with intuition, we speak with ingenuity, and we speak with the full knowledge that those who are listening to us expect results. The 26th General President of Alpha Phi Alpha, Brother Ozell Sutton, often told me, and I know he told some of you, leadership costs, brothers. And brothers, as I traveled across the country, meeting some of you, over and over again, you told me, Brother Matthews, I just love Alpha. I just love Alpha. Brothers, I love my sons. But if I'm not willing to demonstrate that love with a financial commitment, I'm just a deadbeat dad. So we must demonstrate our love in the only way that truly matters. We must demonstrate our dedication to this fraternity with our time, our talent, and our treasury. We will be unified. We will be the fraternity that we were meant to be. One voice, one Alpha. Now, in the days and months ahead, it will be my challenge and my honor to chart the course that will accomplish our goals. But first, brothers, we must get our house in order. We must run our business, the business of brotherhood, the business of fraternity, the principles of good management, fiscal responsibility, shareholder respect, brotherly service and vision. We cannot expect others to fund our existence. We must become economically self-sufficient. We must be proactive in finding alternative future revenue streams and growing our endowments to fund our programs and initiatives. And we will develop revenue diversification through strategic alliances with entrepreneurs, both inside and outside of the fraternity. We will provide vital leadership training and make Alpha a model for professional and personal development. We will develop mentors for our brothers and for those in the communities in which we serve, for the fathers and the significant male role models of Head Start children. And we're going to add a financial literacy component to that. One voice, one Alpha. We must also improve the health of our Alpha brothers and men throughout our communities. Far too many of our people are dying due to unhealthy lifestyles and unhealthy living conditions. We must meet the issues of cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and HIV infections. Don't be afraid to say it. HIV infections, we will meet them head on. We must be about the business of proactive health care, access to health, and prevention. Alpha must be a strong voice in this regard, but we must also ensure that our communities have access to health care. Now, this sounds like a tall order, and it may seem nearly impossible, and for some it is, but not for Alpha Phi Alpha. There's yet another phrase that rings in my mind. It goes something like this: if it was easy, we wouldn't need alphas. So we will only do this, we will do this and much, much more, but only through one voice, one Alpha. Now, before I take my seat, brothers, I once again summon the spirits of those giants on whose shoulders we stand, who caused us to be in this place. And I pray now for Alpha Phi Alpha in their voices and in their words that have guided us in this time and place in history. I pray for Alpha Phi Alpha and for you individually, that we will continue to have the intelligence, wit, and wisdom of a Henry Arthur Callis, that great physician and professor. But greater than that, I pray that we will have knowledge and the verve to put it to work for the greater good of our people. Knowledge unused is no knowledge at all. I pray that we will have the compassion of a Charles Henry Chapman, who truly touched and changed lives through education. I pray that we will not be satisfied with just the mere basics of schooling, but we would seek to expand the knowledge of the young men and women in our communities, that we would demand, that we would teach, that we would coax our youth to get involved with math and science as they are with Xbox and PS2. I'm not saying I'm going to take them away, but keep your grades up. I pray that we will have the leadership of a Eugene Kinkle Jones, who not only became the second president, but also led the National Urban League, a man who truly knew that leadership cost. He is one who challenged us to lead by example. He also gave us the wisdom to know the value of being a good follower, a soldier who knows of the mission and carried it out because it was for the greater good of the body, not for my own private agenda. I pray that we will have analytical and technical minds, enough so that we embrace the sciences and technology in our quest for greatness, like George Biddle Kelly. But furthermore, we will look beyond the technical jargon and see the intended purpose of these discoveries, practical applicability, how we can elevate humanity, how they can benefit from our actions. I pray that we will be of service, satisfied with our participation and contribution, though we may not always be the leader, like our beloved Robert Harold Ogle. I pray that we will continue to be great builders and designers like Vertner, Woods, and Tandy. Not just of the memorial for Dr. Martin Luther King, but for programs that impact the lives of people we serve. If we do these things and will speak with one voice, one alpha, focused on our mission, following our vision, brothers determined to work together, devoid of pettiness, jealousy, envy, but with compassionate fraternalism, then I can assure you, those who write history will have to record that for the men of Alpha Phi Alpha in the year 2005, there was a great victory through singleness of purpose. They will have to write that these were men who sought to do good and accomplish much because their mission was greater than any individual. There will be no repenting for our generation of alpha men, but we will be known as those voices that were heard, whose course was clear and whose courageous acts were seen. The great ship of Alpha is sailing, sailing with the wind at her back. So let the clarion call to service be heard by brothers near and far. Come on, get on board. And as this ship sails towards our destiny, let the voices be heard through the thunder roar and the billows roll. One voice, one alpha. One voice, one alpha. One voice, one alpha, and so it is. Thank you.
A magnificent address, Brother General President. Magnificent address. The immediate past General President is to pin the new president with the presidential pen, Brother Harry Johnson.
Thank you, Brother Sutton. Brother General President Darryl Matthews. 27 years ago, a great tradition started for Alpha Phi Alpha to have this great inaugural. What an honor it is for me to bestow upon you and pin you with another great tradition, and that is to give you and pass down, which was passed down to me, the president's pen from Adrian Wallace as was passed down to him. Brother Matthews, what an high honor it will be for you to wear this pen over your heart and let the brothers all over the world know that you are the General President of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity. We'll be all day with this, bro. And also, Brother General President, from me and my family, I would like to present you with a set of cufflinks for you. Hopefully you will wear them proudly. What an honor it is to pass the torch to a great president, General President Darryl R. Matthews.
Our brother Hardy, would you come? Oh, there he is. Brother Hardy is going to, the brothers will stand in place, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to sing the hymn, and we're going to have the benediction to follow the hymn. And those of us at the head table will remain in place here for further instructions. So come now, brothers, stand in place, and let's sing the hymn like you've never done it before. Let's hear you now sing the hymn. Brother Hart.
Thank you, Brother Sutton. Brothers, the Alpha hymn. And out here, day by day, fraternal spirit rise. All
the true spirit of fraternity rule our hearts, guide our thoughts, and control our lives, so that we may become through thee servants of all. Amen. Thank you.
And now will our guests, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please stand for the charge and benediction. Fathers and mothers, sisters and brothers, I charge you to remember who you are. You are the sons and daughters of a king, therefore walk and talk and act like princes and prince. Be especially kind to little children, for they have come from God since you, and may have special insight from God for you. Be attentive to the needs of those older than you, for they have walked with God longer than you, and you may learn something from their journey.